You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey, happy Wednesday. So we don't have AR with us tonight. He had something he had to take care of. So
who are we going to interrupt when he's talking?
Each other.
We do that now.
So what's going on, everyone? All right. So
Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody.
Happy New Comic Book Day. We have CJ, Marcus. What's up, buds? Kenneth, John, Spilios. What's going on?
Alec, who's going to ER all the new books this week? It wasn't very good. I'm not very excited whatsoever.
I'll try to do it. If you say you like something, I'll say I just like
no, that's not good.
Oh, man.
They're ripping us off. Yeah, I know.
The classic formula. All right, so here we are on New Comic Book Day, and John was just telling us about he was giving his friend a high-end experience dealing with food, of course.
Eddie, Edward says, give me your phone number. I'll interrupt. That's what Rex's son does. Dad, why don't you love me? Who is this again?
Because you are not my child.
I am not the father.
Yes, we will talk about Lieutenant Pickard there, Jay. All right, so all right, John's gonna. Well, John always does most of the talking anyway. But today I'm gonna be a little sluggish, so I warn everybody.
You feel jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Not Mountain Dew, my friend. Ibuprofen. Jean-Luc Pickard. I like that one. So yesterday night I tweaked my back. And I didn't realize how badly until I woke up this morning and I didn't sleep very well. Huh?
Was it carrying the show?
Was it carrying the show? Nice, cute. I'm helping my daughter out. So I'm used to hitting ground balls, fly balls, or whatever. But to 12-year-olds, right? So I run this team because of her. It's a 23U league, which is made up of former and current college players, softball players, right? So this keeps them loose during the off season, whatever, and they can play a little bit. Very relaxed kind of.
You weren't trying to run or throw or catch or anything, were you?
Well, no, not even that. But when I hit to my daughter, I'm really trying to drill it, okay? Because when she plays against these other college players, they're drilling it, right?
There you go.
So I was trying to hit it so hard, I must have done something to my back. And next thing you know, it started to feel a little twingy when I got home. I'm like, it's probably just a long day. Sit down, eat dinner, and I'm on my couch watching TV. And
so this morning, I am tonight who buys a book, it's going to be a week before you can carry that book over to the shipping center.
Week, maybe two. I don't know. I don't know. A John Cole sandwich would probably fix it, though. I'm just saying. Yeah, Josh. Well, not the biggest, but the oldest, maybe. No, there's not much coaching involved. I'm really there to somebody's got to make sure the insurance is there. Somebody's got to collect the money so we can pay the league. And then I make sure that we have enough players on any given day. So, and then I go and I bust on all players. I've known them. A lot of them I've known since they were little. They play with my daughter, watching them come up. So that's fun. But there's not much coaching involved. They play in college, or they did at one point. So they don't need. They know far more than I do. So, but yeah. So I did not sleep very well. So I'm like struggling through the day here, and kind of high on ibuprofen. If you can get high on ibuprofen, I don't think you can. Cool Gamer, what's up, buddy?
There's warnings for everything.
That's true.
This causes ruptured eyeballs, brain tumors. I'm like, man.
So I took the little office packet. You know how the ones they sell in offices, they're like little individual packets.
Yeah, like 2 in a packet.
There is so much fine print on that thing. I didn't even know they made fonts that small.
I don't know, man.
And I'm trying to read through this thing. So I've had 3 in 6 hours. And they say do not exceed 6 in 24. So I'm well ahead of the
dude,
pace.
You should have told me. I would have brought you good stuff, man. When you have surgery and stuff, they hook you up.
Muscle relaxants? Oh, man.
I'm like practically West Virginia over here.
I should have texted you earlier in the day. All right. So I saw John Spilios in the house. So we're going to start.
Ronald's here. I saw a few people. Hello, everybody.
Ron, what's up, buddy? All right. So John Spilios. This one is for you, my friend.
Oh, John just mentioned Zenescope books. Zenescope's headquarters is right in the complex next to where my wife's works. I've been over there a couple times. Yeah, they're super nice people over there. You know, a lot of people sell them short. You know what I mean? People sell them short. Zenescope is one of my favorite publishers after Dynamite. I kind of check out a lot of their stuff periodically. I'm over there probably a couple times a year. There's a food truck event right in their parking lot, and that's sort of how I originally met them or whatever.
All right, so JD, just so you know, we're going to start at the bottom of the list. Punisher Annual number 2 from 1989. Punisher versus Moon Knight.
Oh, man.
And we have the one for $15. All right, so that one's just for you, John Spilios. Big John. That one's just for you. So figure we start off the show with that one.
Man, that's a nice book.
I know. So.
That looks like what? John Romita Jr. maybe?
I don't know. All right, you got it, John. I figured.
Yeah, I see that, CJ. They tell you don't take anything, don't mix anything.
What's the fun of that?
You know what, man? I tell people, read the label, make your own decisions. I don't know what to tell you, man.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
You know how many times I've had to drive my heart surgeon home because he's had too many drinks at the bar? So, you know.
Just better hope doesn't have those drinks before surgery, right?
And yeah, you're right, Josh. Zenescope were one of those people. There are people who were playing the game. You know, I feel comfortable saying, and this sounds a little bit self-serving, but I think it's the truth. Dynamite's sort of the industry leader in variant covers. I don't know if anyone is regularly doing as many variants as Dynamite is, but Zenescope absolutely plays in that field. And then, you know, they do a nice job with what they do. There's a few other players out there, too. I tell people this all the time. If I was going to start collecting comics today, like, you know, I'm young, broke again, stupider than I am now, I would probably start collecting some of these variants, variants, you know, cosplay stuff, some of these things, particularly black and white stuff. I happen to have out this week from Dynamite is issue 1, Vampirella versus the Superpowers. This is a Rebecca Puebla cover, but a black and white variant. I talk to Rebecca Puebla pretty regularly on Twitter as Subversive Girl is her @ there, and that's how she signs a lot of her books. She was super excited when she realized there was going to be a black and white version of this.
Stevie B, what's going on, buddy?
There's a few of the creators who do covers for this, including like Dave Acosta, who did the Elvira and Monsterland cover last week. These guys love working in black and white. They love that sort of, you know, that's how a lot of these things start. Right. And they sort of love the line art, you know, however you want to look at it, monochrome. I would probably, you know, start there. Like a lot of times people are like, I want to get back into it. If you've been away from comics for a while. Right. I have buddies now that have crossed over 50, and, you know, their kids are gone. They have money to start collecting again or whatever. So I tell them, you know, there's a ton of really cool collectible stuff out there now.
All right. So Stevie B saw the Bueller show that we did with Big John. He was in the house for a wedding, family wedding. That's awesome. So he drove down a little bit south to come visit us, and that was great. That was awesome meeting John and his wife Brittany. And we had a great time. We didn't even get to all the books. We were so busy talking the whole show. So that was a lot of fun. All right, so let's do something for our buddy Ron Shepard. And I know
Who we've also had here.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did not meet him, but this time,
Yeah, you missed Ron. I missed John.
Lyle, I did, my friend. I'm pretty sure I did. I got to double check, my friend. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I will check to make sure I got your email. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, so I didn't get to meet Ron, but you did. I know Amy did. Nick did. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had that was a nice day. Yeah, and I would say that all the time. I mean, if someone is in the area, I mean, to absolutely reach out, even though Alex like an hour and a half away, and we're like, yeah, forget it, dude. You're not even on the show today.
Well, we won't go anywhere, but you're welcome to come here and visit us.
I might bomb out to her show. I'm kind of giving that some thought, depending on how. Yeah, depending on how Austin goes. Well, we'll see. Depending on how Austin goes, I'll.
Yeah, you're gonna be away for starting when?
Yeah, I'll be here next Monday. I don't think I'll be here next Wednesday.
All right, and you're away for how long? She's like taking class away for
a week.
So
the class is something else. That's later.
Oh, okay.
This is just me going to a con.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. All right, I got it. All right,
I'll be going to see the new Justified movie panel. I'll be getting to kind of see a few things that will be coming on TV. I'm looking forward to the Marvel thing, the Disney Plus thing, the Hulu thing.
CJ, don't be promised in red pants, man. I don't know if I can make that happen. I'm just saying. All right, so let's get to some of the signed books, and then we've got a lot of keys, some vintage, all kinds of stuff.
You want to do CCA for Ron?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I wanted to. That's right. Thank you. See? Ibuprofen got me all my stuff. All right. Okay, so here we go. So first one is Iron Man number 600, signed with classic Iron Man cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. All right, so $129.99 suggested retail, and we have the one available for $62.
Man, I love that. One of my favorite things. One of the alternate universes.
Josh, that's funny.
One of the alternate universes, they have, instead of Tony Stark, Howard Stark is Iron Man, and his suit is way more powerful than Iron Man's, but it's still that original design. Right. Like, why would I change it? He's still got the antenna and anything, but the antenna is, the antenna like opens up like holes to other realities. It's this great kind of weird juxtaposition of old and new.
So, Stevie V, yeah, I hope it's not us, but I heard about that as well, about Tina Turner. That's a sin. I love this stuff.
I always wait a little bit now, like, because I don't know how true it is. Like,
no, this one's true.
Is it true? Yeah, because like I hear a celebrity died, and I'm like, and you know how many times like they've killed off Keith Richards like 8 times
everywhere, radio stations.
Really?
When I was out at lunch, they were playing Tina Turner's music.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Usually when it gets spread to this point, it's probably true. So
Ronald. The actor who plays Timothy Oliphant is going to be on that panel in Austin. We're kind of looking forward to that. The creator of Justified will be there. Some of the cast will be there. The showrunner. Right. That's one of the sort of like highlights of this. This is like a more TV based con than a comic based con.
Gotcha.
But because of the way TV is now, Hulu is there, Disney Plus is there, Marvel will be there.
Right. All right. So next up we have Superior Spider-Man Goblin Nation #1, signed with Spidey and Vulture. Now Vulture you can see way in the distance. All right, I love this one actually. They really have done themselves this time. By Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $129.99, and we have the one available for $62.19 for $19.62.
Well, it's like any art team, right? Like the more they do, the more they begin to kind of gel and hit their with their vibe or whatever.
All right, and then finally, correct, CJ. All right, then finally, this one we've had on before. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, maybe the art show. Defenders and X-Men #1 connecting cover sketches of Namor versus Hulk by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. This suggested retail of $199.99. We're practically gonna give it away at this price because, and I want to make sure everybody knows.
Ow! Super villain team up cover.
Ow! All right, so as we were going through, we have no idea how this happened, but always full disclosure, and we always inspect the stuff before we put it on the show. All right, but I want to show everybody this. All right, so here we go. There is water damage to the back cover. All
What
right.
did you do?
I didn't do anything, buddy.
As I open a bottle of water.
What did you do, John? All right, I want everybody to be aware of that.
This is why I never touch
So there is no damage to the front, but as you can see, the back has water damage. So I want everybody to be aware. So we have slashed the price on this one to $62 for a connecting cover because it is damaged. All right, and those are John's trunk is leaking. Good one, Ed Weird. Yeah, it was a splash when Namor jumped in the water that caused the water damage. We're calling it that.
It's part of the artifact.
They're genius, these men, I tell you. All right, so probably the lowest, that's definitely the lowest price we've ever had for a connecting cover. All right, so there you go. Those are the sketch covers for the evening.
Yeah, I think that's the cover originally of
the Spidey Ron
villain team up, maybe a Gil Kane cover.
The Spidey with Vulture is $62.19, my friend. So let me know if you want that one.
That's I like that cover a lot. I love the sort of the Vulture in the distance thing.
The Renko homage, the Vulture in the distance. So they are getting very creative. All right, so let us know, Ron. Okay. All right, so Lars Man must still be working because we got a ton of X-Men and Spider-Man today. So, yeah, they do.
They really do.
Yeah, Stevie B. Yeah.
Amy. It's Amy kicking in the door. Who ruined this comic?
And that's when I go like this, huh? John, yeah, you can send me an email and I'll forward it to him, or is he even here? Still probably not.
I was going to say, she's still here.
No, probably not. Otherwise, I just bring him in the room. Yeah, John, you can send me or Amy and Amy an email. We'll make sure to forward it to him. I'm sure he'd appreciate the thanks, buddy. John Spilios has got my email, but thanks, JD.
I know, right? Thank you.
All right. So let me see here. All right. So we'll wait, see if Ron wants the Spidey. He'll let us know. And what should we start with? What do you think?
We'll start with the X-Men?
We can. All right. Let's
start with the X-Men.
All right. X-Men number 54 from 1969. It is a 5.0. Appearances by Alex Summers and Living Pharaoh. We have the one, again, it is a 5.0, and we have the one available for $50.
Cyclops must die. Like, Gail Simone write this issue? Or?
Yes, I remember you explaining. No problem, Ron. I remember you telling us about her impression of
Gail
Cyclops.
Simone. One of her favorite punching bags on Twitter is Cyclops. She just, to say she dislikes this character is like understating it, and I don't know why. He seems like a relatively inoffensive character. She just, man, oh man, it is endless jokes.
Miss Jen hates him too.
I don't know what it is, man. I get that he can kind of be whiny and annoying, and then they made him a villain for a while, and I thought that was probably the best move. The guy's the first X-Man and he doesn't get put in charge. I'd be like, all right, fine. You don't want me to be a hero, I'm going to be a villain. I totally get that. But
all right, next up, we have X-Men number 55 from 1969. A key issue, Alex Summers discovers he has powers.
Yikes, there's actually worse things Cyclops has ever done. There's listicles for how terrible this character is. Yikes.
It is a 6.5, and we have the one available for $65. All right, so
that's a nice cover. I really like the.
So when is Austin? You're going to be here Monday, and then
I will be here. I should be here next Monday, but then I don't think I'll be here for like a week.
All right, so are you flying out the next day or?
Yeah, I think I leave.
Nice,
I think I leave Wednesday morning.
nice. So you taking your wife or just you?
No, it's just me. Me and
Okay.
buddy go to this con.
Got ya. All right. I like it. Wait until Marcus scrolls up. It's pretty funny. That's a good one, Marcus. All right, so next up,
That is funny.
we have X-Men number 158 from 1982. Second appearance of Rogue. It is an 8.5, and we have the one available for $15.
You can always tell the character is not where it should be when every alternate reality version of him is better than the baseline version, right? Like, they do alternate versions of Batman, and he's almost never better than regular Batman. Like, you might like one more,
But that's because you don't like
but he's
that.
not objectively better than the current continuity Batman. When you start doing alternate versions of characters, you're like, why aren't you doing this? This is a million times better. I'm like, yeah.
All right, so everything has come on to either HBO, which is switched to Max. So that's a new conversion they did,
Yeah.
right? Or Disney Plus. And so I have to catch up.
There's a lot going on now with these sort of super streaming stations. They're kind of pulling together. It's I think, like, I tell people now, because for me it worked out because I buy everything once a year, so I'm sort of grandfathered in, and it's great, right, or whatever. But for people who pay month to month for these things, I tell them I would wait a little bit.
Correct, Stevie B.
And see how this is going to all shake out, like who's going to have what. I enjoy Hulu. Hulu's always sort of been like the redheaded stepchild in the streaming world. I don't know if Hulu will survive as Hulu. I think Hulu will eventually wind up being absorbed.
Right.
Because they're just, it's never been, it's kind of Fox, it's kind of Disney. I just don't think I don't think it can survive like that. It's got a weird mix of stuff.
Dwayne DePayne. Hey, Johnny, what's going on? Dwayne DePayne says they've got a new Gremlins cartoon on Max, and it's painful in so many ways. I have not seen that.
Yeah, that was on in my house, and they're...
yeah, JD says
they've already announced that. Here's the problem with Hulu. Fox just bought Tubi, which is like a free ad-supported channel. But what's going to happen is they're going to wind up moving from some Hulu stuff to Tubi. It's like a whole thing. I would wait a little bit before signing up for stuff right now.
Well, I'm already signed up for too much. Although I was going to get rid of Peacock, but now I hear that certain NFL games you will not be able to watch without having
When
Peacock.
Someone says to me they have too many subscriptions, I'm like, you should take a look at my monthly and annual Amex charges. I actually have more stuff than I don't have. Like, in the middle of the night, I will wake up and I'm in the mood to watch wrestling from Japan. So I will wind up signing up for NJPW World. I don't speak Japanese at all. Thankfully, a lot of the matches are dubbed in English.
So Johnny says he hopes Dynamite's going to make a Mighty Ducks comic run from the animated series. I have zero say in the publishing end.
Should we bring a publisher in here to discuss future Disney plans?
I have zero say in the publishing end. John has, if it's possible, -0 say. Okay, it's even lower because if it's John's idea, everybody runs from the room.
How do you think we got King Kong?
You were lucky.
We got more superpowers. How do you think that happens?
Hey, the sun shines on the dogs.
You know why we get new superpowers? Superpowers has 2 fans. Myself is the number 2 fan, and you know who the number 1 fan is?
Who?
The guy in the office next door. He loves him some superpowers. That's why that book is published.
God. All right, so next
Go
up,
ask him. Seriously, Nick loves characters from the superpowers.
Next up, we have X-Men number 162 from 1982. It is the first Wolverine solo story. Is it? It's definitely a Wolverine solo story with the Brood. And it is a 9.0, so this one's in really good shape. And we have the one available for $12.
I talked to Amanda Diebert 2 weeks ago on
Name
Twitter,
drop.
and I said to her, I was very clear. I was like, I'm going to need you to do about another 57 issues of this book. And she's like, talk to the publisher. I'm down. She loves Darkwing Duck.
All right. So then, before we go to break, let's do one more. We've got X-Men number 210 from 1986. First cameo appearance of the Marauders. It is also a 9.0, and we have the one available for $15.
X-Men 162, depiction of Rex's back pain.
Pretty much. Oh my, that's how it feels today. Man, I should have texted you earlier and had you bring me some of your good drugs.
You know what? John? I was just talking to Nick about Fire and Ice. I kind of knew there's certain things that I know a little bit in advance, kind of physically being here in the office, but I'm asked not to say anything,
right.
And I'm totally fine with that. I've known Fire and Ice for a while. When I first heard it, I thought to myself, I have not watched Fire and Ice in countless years. I found it on like Apple TV or Amazon or something for like $10. Bang, I buy it and watch it. I did not realize, you don't remember, I know I enjoyed it, right? You don't realize how good it is until you rewatch it again. And I got to tell you, I was excited for Fire and Ice. Then I was super excited for Fire and Ice. I kind of interact a lot with the Frazetta Girls account on Twitter. And they were like, go watch it again. Okay, that's all I need to hear. Bang, I hit it, and I could not believe I was super excited.
Right.
I'm always excited for new Dynamite stuff, but this kind of took it to a different level. I'm like, man, I forgot how good this was. Started talking to the cosplayers, and they were like, hey, we want to, even if we're not doing cosplay covers or photo covers, they're going to start doing cosplay covers at cons and stuff. Super excited about this.
CJ.
And weird, I have not told Rex yet. We found the squirrel that you rescued. There's a picture on Ed Weird's Facebook page.
Oh, no. I don't want to see it. CJ, if I drift off, you'll know because there'll be a loud thud on the table. That'll be my head. All right. You know what? We're going to go to our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find the link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite news show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting.
Hey, we're back. Yeah. CVB. Yeah, I was just talking to John about that. It's kind of hard to believe, but after 37 years, maybe the guy deserves a rest.
As unbelievable as it is for us, imagine how it is for him.
Yeah.
Some of these people that have literally been there for, since Superman died the first time.
He's probably seen a lot of people come and go. So, yeah, that's kind of sad news. But again,
37 years. When did the guy
close to
join?
40 years.
He's probably thinking, you know what? Maybe I'd like, as my old man used to say, I'd like to have the second cup of coffee in the morning without racing out the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of these creators now, people are like, oh, that's sad. I remember being at a con a couple of years ago, and Jim Steranko said he was at a table and he talked about he wasn't working on anything. I was like, the man is 80. What exactly do you expect him to be working on? And I realize there are people that still work into their 80s, Trina Robbins. But, sometimes it's okay to kind of like take that victory lap, enjoy the lemonade on the porch or whatever it is.
You would know.
More deserving than me.
All right. Next up, we have X-Men number 211 from 1986. First full appearance of the Marauders. And is a 9.4. So this one is in excellent condition. All right, and we have the one available for $25. All right, and then next we have X-Men number 212 from 1986. First battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. It is a 9.2. So these are in absolutely awesome shape. And we have one available for $15.
I appreciate Gold Regal card. I appreciate that. I actually emailed Regal to see if they had a higher level of membership subscription, but they did not.
I would be on the phone right away. Why, yes, we do.
Send us more money.
Send us more money, exactly, because you're breaking us, man. Breaking us. Oh, man.
It was funny, like the same girl got me soda like 3 days in a row to see Fast 10.
Oh, how was that?
It's exactly what you expect it to be, man. Jason Momoa is great as a villain. I'm not going to do too many spoilers or whatever. If you've seen these movies, you kind of know what you're in for. I've seen some ludicrous comments on social media like, oh, that's totally ridiculous, or the story doesn't make sense.
Yeah, people, they jumped a building.
Yeah, they're jumping buildings,
high-rise
cars
buildings.
in space. Please stop.
The Fiero went into space.
Just stop, please.
I can't imagine there being anything beyond that, okay?
There's nothing. These movies are, as they used to say in the business, these are popcorn movies. These are movies for you to go and have a good time for a couple hours, buy the popcorn and soda, have a few laughs, and go home.
Let me put it to you this way.
They're not meant to be,
the
American film industries,
Let me put it to you this way, okay? Vin Diesel could jump out of one of those cars, okay, rip his shirt off and have a Superman costume on, okay, and fly away, and it wouldn't be too much.
And that's actually a really good point, too. This one is actually a little bit less ludicrous than Fast and Furious 9 was, if that's possible.
Because they went into space on a Fiero.
But,
come on.
If you like these movies, I'd absolutely recommend doing it. But I had the same girl get me soda 3 days in a row. And she looked at me, and by the third day, she looked at me and I said, if this is deja vu, it's because it is. I said, I've been here to see this movie 3 days in a row at this time. And each day I've come in and gotten a Pepsi Zero. And she's like, okay, I just had to check.
Poor kid probably thought she was losing her mind.
She looked up at me, and again, I looked over, I smiled, and I'm pretty recognizable, and I was like, Pepsi Zero, please. And I show her my thing, and she the app, and she's like, and I could see the look, she's like, is it me? I'm like, are the wheels spinning?
Jay, I agree with you totally. The first time I saw it, it was a good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It didn't get, at first a lot of traction.
Oh, I didn't really think at all that they would make 10 films, and then we had some other stuff. And
yeah, it already felt like it was dying after the next couple, right? So
this sounds terrible to say.
Which one was the one with no Vin Diesel?
After Paul Walker passed away.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought, well, you know what, maybe, obviously it's a shame the man passed away, but, maybe it's time to kind of fold this up. Then they did like a Tokyo Drift thing.
Thank you, JD.
And I thought, well, okay, you know what? Maybe they're just trying to cash out a little bit, get some of these people some money or whatever. And then they just, people were coming back from the dead and this and that. And
it's like
it's The Rock and Peacemaker. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the 2 and 3, that's right. Was
Captain
3
Marvel,
Tokyo Drift?
Aquaman.
3 was Tokyo Drift, right?
Wait, what?
Was number 3 Tokyo Drift?
Yes, number 3 was Tokyo Drift.
So it felt like after Tokyo Drift was made, it was good first movie. They're trying to milk it. You don't even have the main stars in it anymore, which is Vin Diesel, right? So it started to die, and then it did something that's very unusual for film.
It jumped the shark back.
Yeah.
It jumped the shark.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's a great way to put
Rock,
it. It did a
Jason
reverse
Statham,
jumping the shark.
They con people into saying, hey, look, if you give us $200 million, we'll make $300 million. And as ridiculous as that sounds, that's like the 3-card Monte thing all over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it works at that ridiculous level in the film industry. This, that, whatever, people are stashing money, weird accounting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Somehow everybody walks away with money. So they keep doing it. I see this all the time. Like, why do they keep making these movies? Because they keep making money. That's just it. There's no sort of agenda. There's no weirdness. People go. If you stopped going, they would stop making them.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
I mean, a very small percentage of movies now are like art house, cinema, that kind of stuff that kids will be talking about 100 years from now.
No, I would agree with you. 3-card Monte, that was my first experience that how do I put this? That my father had wisdom that I didn't have.
Yeah.
First realization. Because we were in the streets of New York. I forget what we were doing. And when
Find
I'm
the
watching
red,
it.
find the red.
Yeah, and I'm watching. And they're trying to drag me in. And my dad's like, come on, it's a scam. Come on, let's go. So that reminds me of that day.
My dad taught me when I was a little kid, because we did concessions and all this stuff, right? At a boardwalk, I was a little kid, and I think I spent like $8, which was a lot of money in the 70s for a kid, trying to win something, and I didn't get it. And I think I'm trying to put like a ball through a hoop or something, and of course the hoop is too small for the ball, so it never goes. And my dad tells me, he's like, just so you know, all these games are a con. And the way a con works is, and I'm crying, and my dad's, like closing the stand or whatever, and he looks at me and he says, the way every con works is, if you're not the one making the money, you're the mark. Don't be a mark. My dad was a big carny guy, pro wrestling guy, because all the time, he always had food.
Surrounded by
it. So he learned, he wised up real quick. Like, I realized long ago, like, my dad knew, like wrestling is fake and this and that, whatever, and blah, blah, was really going on at night because he was out there selling food.
Right.
I was home asleep. I'm a little kid with a dog, dreaming of Star Trek or whatever. And I realized that he knew what all these cons were because he would talk to all these kind of like nighttime people or whatever. So
we see it going on.
By the time I'm like 11 or 12, I would see my friends go running over to boardwalk games. And they're like, come on. I'm like, no, I'm good. And people were like, people were like, how do you the one that always has money? And I'm like,
because I don't.
Because I waste my money all weekend on the boardwalk. I'm not a mark.
You should have made them marks, your friends.
No, I think right. I probably should have, especially now. Hey, I have an investment opportunity.
All right. In the late 70s, I was making $7.75 an hour. That's actually pretty good, man.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money back then, man.
Late 70s, I think people weren't they making like $3.50 an hour or something.
Preston, cover your ears. Okay, we won't talk about wrestling anymore. Cover your ears.
I know.
All right. So then we have X-Men number 213 from 1987. Sabretooth Psylocke, first cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister, and it is a 9.0.
Man.
And we have one for 25. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Tom Bishop. Yeah, I like the Riddick,
Yeah, Vin Diesel talked about that on Access Hollywood or something.
No, but the movies, I really like them. even what was the first one?
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. That's right.
I like the universe. I like the idea. They just sort of lost their way.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. They lost their way. And I don't know if it was a Vin Diesel thing or whoever he got work. It just didn't happen. By the time they got to that third movie.
The second one was really good, I thought.
I just, that third one, he's running around and he's like a escaped guy again. And, the character of Jack from the first movie is now somehow like, a 30-year-old stunt woman. And I'm like, this just isn't working. It just isn't.
Yeah, they lost.
And he did. Yeah, Ron, he did.
I did not hear that announcement. I'll probably watch it, but by the third one, it was not what I'd hoped for. Especially after the second one, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a good premise. The way it ended, the whole thing was good.
I was at a con.
Big stars.
Probably about 7 years ago, and Vin Diesel talked about the Riddick character and the Conan character. And he always liked how Conan started as like a thief with like nothing to his name. And he ends his life as a king, right?
Right.
And that was sort of the story arc he imagined for Riddick. But the problem was they went to that almost immediately.
Right.
So then you get to that third movie, and that movie makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was confusing, if anything. It did not clear things up in the universe, I'd say. All right, so let's do a Rex cap. What do you think?
Yeah, you might just go real quick.
Yeah, let's do a Rex cap real quick. All right, so we started off with Iron Man number 600, signed with classic Iron Man cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $129.99, and we have the one available for $62. Then we have Superior Spider-Man Goblin Nation number 1, signed with Spidey and Vulture cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza.
This is so nice.
Suggested retail of $129.99. We have the one available for $62.19. Then we had the Defenders and X-Men number 1, connecting cover sketches of Namor versus Hulk by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. All right, so I'm warning everybody, on the book with Namor, there is water damage on the back cover. So as a result, normally it retails for $199.99. Because of the damage, we have the pair available for $62. All right, and then we did some key vintage X-Men. We had X-Men number 54 from 1969. It is a 5.0. Alex Summers and Living Pharaoh appearance, and we have the one available for $50. Then we had X-Men number 55 from 1969. Alex Summers discovers he has powers. It is a 6.5, and we have the one available for $65. Yeah, Marcus, good one. And then we had X-Men number 158 from 1982, second appearance of Rogue. It is an 8.5, and we have the one available for $15.
Nice. Make Mariano do watercolors on the back of that book. Do the ocean wave. That Namor jumped out,
right,
man.
All right, then we had X-Men number 162. Wolverine solo story. It is a 9.0, and we have the one available for $12. These are priced to move.
Yeah, this is a great way for people to fill up these gaps in their collection, trade up a little bit. There are people who probably have their original copy of this that's, not as spiffy as they think it is.
All right. So Lyle has an interesting question. I believe that they do, of course. Yeah. Because they have to have, I don't know the name of the base, but they have to have one because they fly sorties into various.
Yeah, because isn't there like an Aleutian Islands naval base or something?
I don't know, but I mean they must have one because they're because that's the closest point to Russia.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't either, or what do we call them now, like joint military bases or something.
Yeah, like McGuire,
and
Dix,
and like everything is sort of.
All right, so. Which one is this? 210? No, this is 162. All right, so next up we have X-Men number 210, 9.0, first cameo appearance of the Marauders, and we have the one available for $15.
There we go. You just said Elmendorf Air Force Base.
There we go. Thank you, JD. All right. Then we have X-Men 211 from 1986. First full appearance of the Marauders. It is a 9.4. And we have one available for $25. And then we had X-Men number 212 from 1986. First battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. It is a 9.2, and we have the one available for $15. All right, and then finally we had X-Men number 213 from 1987. Sabretooth Psylocke appearance with first cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister. We have the one available for $25. All right, so you know what? Let's do some Spider-Man.
I don't even want to say that's Alan Davis in his prime, because Alan Davis is, I think his whole, almost his entire career is prime. You know what I mean? Like, sure, his art evolves or whatever, but it's never, you know, it's never not off. You know, you can always find a cover from some creator that, well, you know, maybe that's not, it didn't connect, it didn't work for them or whatever.
Right.
Alan Davis is one of those guys where I have never seen anything that guy has done that, you know, didn't work.
All right, so let's hit some Spider-Mans. All right, so we have Amazing Spider-Man number 164 from 1977. All right, it is a 5.5, and we have it available for $20. All right, and then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 197 from 1979. It is a 6.5, both of them obviously having Kingpin on the cover, and we have this one available for $20 as well.
I think Alec mentioned this before with Daredevil Born Again. We're going to see the Kingpin, so Kingpin books are probably going to start jumping up in value.
I would agree.
You know what I mean? So if this is probably the time, like, don't wait until, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio is on your screen again, because then the books will be too high. We talked about this. I was in the office last week with Nick and Jim, and we kind of said the same thing, that, you know, people, they wait and then we get these emails like, oh, you know, can I get that book for $20? Right. No, now you can't get that book for $20.
So these are priced to sell. We got our buddy Alex working on pricing these out, and he is very aggressive in his pricing. Definitely way below comp prices. I think Kyle was telling us.
Well, he's doing it. I mean, he's almost got like a ticker. Like, you go into his office now, it's almost like CNBC in there. He's checking, like, you know, hourly to see what market rates were, and he's really sort of, you know, pricing this stuff to, you know, to get to people.
So what did you see today for New Comic Day?
Today was pretty much I was all focused on the Dynamite stuff. We had Vampirella and the Superpowers today.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what else we had today. I'm drawing a blank now. We had oh god, wait. See, I'm always a little bit off because I always see the stuff. I kind of see the stuff a week ahead. So Elvira was last week. I'm trying to think of what else we had this week. We had, did we have Darkwing Duck this week? I'll have to go out and check. We had, I'll tell you what, you want to know what we had this week? Go on YouTube and watch Amy. She does these great little videos and stuff like that about what we have from week to week.
You can't even do that, man. And you're the fan.
You know what? I actually wound up putting books up.
Everybody's helping you out now.
2 weeks in advance. Well, I knew Vampirella 007 was out this week. Thank you, Jay. I just don't look at stuff in order anymore. Like, you know, like sometimes 2 or 3 weeks in advance, that stuff is in the back.
Sounds like bragging. Okay. I'm just saying.
Oh, what's in here? Nick is like, bring that back. We need that to do the video.
Oh, that's right. That happened last week.
Remember that with King Kong? Well, what happened with King Kong stuff? Like, oh, I'm gonna
We need that back. Hold on.
Well, we're gonna need that back. What are you doing?
Too fun. All right. So in essence, without Alec here, we're not going to get a real review.
You know what? Probably not.
Hey, at least the man's honest, right? All right. So
this week I did not go to the comic book store. This is like a rare Wednesday where I didn't go to any stores this week.
So we know that you went to see Fast and Furious.
I did. I went to see Fast and Furious.
What else have you been watching in movie theaters?
I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy now about, I think, 15 or 16 times.
Whoa, dude, really?
Well, it's a nice way to start the day. I wake up, I'm in the yard with the dog, I have my coffee, whatever. Then she takes her nap. And, my wife is doing her job, and knock yourself out. More power to her.
You get in the car and go to the movies.
I get in the car and I go to the movies. Yard House is right there.
Yes,
so
it is.
I have my lunch.
But they don't open until 11, I think.
Yeah, they open right about 11 o'clock. So I don't, I'm usually up pretty late at night watching movies. Like I told you this week, I started watching The Twilight Zone. Was a big late night.
Yeah, you
watch
mentioned
at
that.
home.
Yeah.
You don't realize, and of course Dynamite did The Twilight Zone, a couple series, I think, and we even did a crossover with Twilight Zone in the Shadow.
Collecting Dude, that is correct. Shazam 2 is now on Max. I need to watch it, but I was so tired last night, and I probably had a couple of drinks to try and deal with the glitchy back. Ant-Man 3 too. I know that hit.
My wife is so funny. She finally sees it, and then she's like, "Oh, now I know why you went to see this more than once." I'm like,
"There you go,
more than once. You're adorable. Good night." She's like, "Oh, that Paul Rudd is so funny." I'm like,
you saw it certainly more than once or twice.
I've seen it.
Are we in double digits?
Oh yeah, I think if I remember correctly, we talked about this. I think I saw Ant-Man. I think it was probably about 13 or 14 times.
Wow, you like Guardians? You're already up to that number with Guardians.
Guardians, it just turned out that I have friends that maybe aren't into Marvel movies, but they're into the Guardians. We talked about this before.
Right.
Guardians almost has its own little subset.
Right.
Of fans where people don't really care about the other stuff. I know people that saw Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame simply because the Guardians were in it.
How many times did you watch that? Endgame?
Endgame?
Yeah. What was the number again? It was a ridiculous number.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, once I watched it a lot when it was first streaming, and then I got Disney Plus, and I've probably watched that at least 100 times.
We're in the triple digits.
Oh, yeah. That's
way into the triple digits.
There's two movies that I have watched. There's a couple movies I've watched a lot. There's that, and then there's Civil War and Winter Soldier. I've watched those movies an unhealthy amount of times.
Unhealthy? What's unhealthy then?
Especially the scene
triple
where
digits.
Yeah, once you get to triple digits, that's a little much, man. People are like, you can't possibly watch it that many times, bro. Trust me. Yeah, I can.
John could explain time travel by now.
Particularly the scene where there was one day where my wife was like, "You have got to shut this scene off."
Which one?
And it's the scene where Captain America and Bucky are fighting Iron Man.
Why?
I cannot stand Iron Man.
Oh, so you just keep that clip and keep rewinding.
And she was like, "You have got to shut this off." Have you lost your mind?
I'm not watching this again and again and again.
She's like, "You are way too into this.
You're like a toddler that has to watch the same movie a million times."
It was a shiny keys. I enjoy that. Every time Iron Man gets hit with the shield, I'm like, "Oh, I'm so happy."
Why do you hate Iron Man so much?
You know what? I certainly don't hate the character. It's not anything like that. I understand they had to do Civil War and they had to find a way to do Civil War, and they tried to keep it as true as they could. As much as I dislike Iron Man's MCU motivation for Civil War, it's multiplied by 1,000 for the comics. I'm one of those people that after Civil War, certain characters I just can't be okay with. If you are on that other side, I don't care what your motivation was. I'm not reading your books. I'm not buying your stories. If you die, I'm happy.
Wow, serious?
No, I don't. When they did that line in the sand, Joe Quesada and all those guys decided we were going to do a line
and
in the
you
sand.
watched the movie triple digits just to hate it that much.
Well, no, you love it. There's certain things about the movie that I love, and there's this great scene where they're at the airport, and I guess Black Widow looks at Captain America and she's like, "Do you really want to fight?" And you expect him to have an answer like, "No, I wish we could work this out peacefully." And he's so honest. He's like, "I really do." And I'm like, man, that's like the most scene I've ever felt in a movie by like a superhero. I really want to punch this guy in the face because I've had enough of his bullshit.
Wow. So clearly John has had a deep analysis of that movie and that scene in particular. Thought about it a long time, multiple times. And clearly to a point where your wife says, "John, turn it off."
Oh yeah, you know what? She's like, "Watch Civil War when I go out." She's like, "Watch that when I go out." She's like, "You and the bromance with Cap and Bucky," and I
can't take it. I can't take it anymore.
She's like, "You cheering for them beating up German cops or whatever." She's like, "That's just not normal."
And that's why she's happy that John goes to the Regal Cinemas that much. Oh man, too funny. So Jay says in the comics, when Thor comes back and beats the brakes off Tony for cloning him.
Tony Stark has these beatings coming. I'm sorry, Iron Man fans, I get it. But they wrote your character poorly. They just did. They did your character a massive disservice. Wow. I mean, Tony Stark is always sort of like, a rich dude. So, you kind of wonder a little bit, but you want to think he's a good dude. He doesn't make good decisions.
All right, so we're going to take our next break so we can all digest this psychoanalysis of Tony Stark and Iron Man. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Did you know that across America there are over 2, maybe even 3 live stream producers who can't even afford Mountain Dew? Take Brian here. Brian has gone 2 weeks without a sip of Red Bull. If it goes on much longer, he may take a shower and get a real job. Situations like this are as tragic as they are preventable. Join the experience on YouTube and gain access to special emojis and members-only streams. For less than a cup of coffee, you can keep socially awkward hermit people working from their parents' basements where they belong. Scan the QR code on the screen to join. You'll be glad you did. Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form.
Hey,
we
we're
are back.
All right, so Josh went his points. I like his point.
You could do multiple shows, and I'm sure back then there were tons of. I don't think they quite had streaming shows during Civil War, but they probably had podcasts or whatever, and you could probably fill up hard drives worth of podcasts. People talking about this, the MCU Civil War, the comic Civil War. In the comics, they sort of had more time and more bandwidth to sort of put this out or whatever.
A more complex storyline.
It still was nonsensical. It was profitable, so Marvel loved it. But in and of the scope of superhero comics, Civil War is nonsensical, and I mean that in the very literal sense of the word. Great art, great stories. People did what they could. Sort of trying to split the superhero community and, putting the villains in charge. There's a lot of proselytizing going on. At the end of the day, for me, comics are escapist fantasy. Right. And while it's fine that some of it's based in reality, that's like a little too much. And I think you sort of split the fan base. I don't think they got what they wanted out of it, other than money. Of course, this is like a huge cash thing.
Well, it didn't obviously affect Endgame at all.
No, I mean in the comics.
Right, okay.
In the comics. Endgame, I mean, it just, is one of those things where they did it and they moved on. And to a certain extent, it was better. Because, now you pick up the Avengers and I see Captain America and Tony Stark, Iron Man, and their buddy in the Avengers again. And Thor, and they're all there and they've all forgiven each other. And I'm like, I've had friends for at least as long as you guys have been appealing together in comics. And I'm telling you right now, if Friends did to me what Iron Man did to Thor and Captain America, I'm not going to be your friend. I might not wake up every morning and smack the stupid out of you, but I'm probably not going to be your friend. And I certainly am not going to trust you to get my back on the team. Right. Same with some of the other heroes that followed Iron Man's lead. See, even though I'm not a huge fan of this, that would have been a time to do some kind of retcon reset. I realize DC does this every 18 months and they kind of have to stop that. But that would have been a great time to do some kind of reset to the beginning where none of that stuff ever happened. Because they sometimes reference that and make in-jokes. And I'm like, that's not the kind of thing you can reference and make in-jokes about. Like, people died. You know what I mean? It's not, of course, they're all fictional, but in the story itself, you want me to be invested enough in this to keep spending. Alec, I feel like Alec always mentions this, right? They just need to keep getting us to spend, right? So you want me to have some sort of connection here. It's very hard for me to stay connected, me anyway, like this. Younger fans who've come in after Civil War, they're like, and I don't blame them. Like my godson, he read some of that older stuff, and he's like, "Oh, that's crazy." No, I don't even pretend that happens. So I can enjoy my Avengers books now, and I'm like, he's absolutely right.
Right.
I love that. What was Chase said, Jenna? Like, it's like warp drive expletives when you talk about
a cyclone of expletives.
Cyclone of expletives.
When it comes to that movie. Yeah, well, there you go.
You know what? I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with that if they'd had him relapse and he made all those bad decisions. Thor bounced him like a Super Bowl and it sent him to rehab. I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah, but that would have complicated.
But this idea of he knowingly betrays his friends because he thinks he's doing the right thing. Right. Really, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. That may have added something to it. If they'd gone back to that.
After all those years together, if Captain America is telling you you're wrong, definitively, objectively, categorically telling you, no, you're wrong, you're probably wrong, dude. And Spider-Man actually says that. He's like, I should have known, because originally he's with Iron Man.
Right.
And he realizes it's a mistake, and he's like, I should have known. When Cap was like, no, this is not okay.
So, all right. So, okay, let's get back to the books real quick. So we have, as always, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles with a cover price of $3.99 or higher. And as always, we have it for $5 for all 10 books, 50 cents a copy. Hey, TJ, what's up, man?
yeah, I tell people this all the time. This is like from the get-go. This is a great way to, you know, to people. I don't know where to jump in or whatever. I tell you, like, you just jump in. You know, I've had Alec ask me about, other people ask me. I've had people ask me in cons, where should I start? Where should I do this? Where should I do that? What do you like? Just jump in.
Right.
Because Dynamite, when I started reading Dynamite, they were more than a year off. They'd already done Red Sonja. They'd already done Army of Darkness. I forget what was being done next. I was just like, I'm buying everything I can find. And I'll go back and read that stuff later. And most of the Dynamite stuff is engineered that you don't need to have a massive, you know, continuity, massive knowledge. And certain things, you know, like Red Sonja is 50 years old. You know, people say, oh, you can do that with characters that aren't that old. Red Sonja's 50 years old. Vampirella is 50 years old. Army of Darkness is 40, coming up on 40 years old. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, that stuff is coming up on 40 years old. So yeah, there's a lot of there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can craft stories for people to just run into the store on New Comic Book Day and pick the stuff up. Like today, you could have went to the store, Vampirella Superpowers, you pick this up, you open up page 1, and by page 3, you kind of have an idea of what's going on, especially if you're a comic book fan.
All right. So next up, we have Phoenix Resurrection, The Return of Jean Grey, #1. It is the comic sketch art exclusive variant cover, signed by Matthew Rosenberg. Suggested retail of $39.99, and we have this one for $19.63 for 1963.
This is a trading card, this cover.
Yeah, this cover is phenomenal.
Yeah, this really does look like a trading card. I expect to see this in plastic.
So, really, we're under 50% off. So this is a great deal. All right, so I love this one. All right, Action Comics #1000. Dynamic Forces exclusive wraparound variant cover, signed in silver by Peter Tomasi. Give JD a second there. There we go. All right, so the wraparound cover, I love this one because it's really Superman through the ages.
Yeah.
All right, so suggested retail of $69.99. It is number of 13 of only 50, signed in silver. And we have the one for $38.19 for 1938, obviously.
Jay, I talked to Tom Snigowski a lot about the Vamp. That's one of those things where I think that when the time is right, I'm not going to say that I know but that's a character that when the time is right, you'll see again. Tom and Janine, I talked to both of them quite a bit. They know that.
Yeah, Marcus, that was a name drop.
They know that there's that character in particular. There's tons of versions of Vampirella through the Vampiverse that people really like.
Right.
The Vamp sort of really kind of hit a nerve a little bit that I think, especially with at least part of Dynamite's roots in pulp, there will be another version of that at some point. I'm not saying like from Nick's office I know this, but I kind of see I see how Dynamite revisits things. Somebody said they love the steampunk version of Vampirella. There's been at least 3 versions of that. You know why? Because people love the steampunk version of Vampirella. 5 years from now, 4 years from now, if there's another steampunk version of Vampirella, you will not be surprised at all. Pirate Red Sonja, will not be surprised at all.
All right, John, you got it, buddy.
And wait, what was it? Scroll back. John just asked about something. One of the other books.
All right, hold on. Let me get.
Was it Sweetie?
Yes, it was. You're right.
I would be shocked to not see that again. That's again Dynamite. When Dynamite says something's over, if it's a finale, I always hearken back to the Silver Age Superman with a wink.
Right.
You know, like I've had people multiple times on this show, I've said it, where people are like, oh, it's a Red Sonja finale. It's the immortal Red Sonja finale. More Red Sonja is coming. You know, Vampirella, I think the way the publishing schedule is now, you sort of know that. Right. But even like 2 years ago during the pandemic, I would have people message me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and be like, dude, I'm not, not to betray any confidences, but is there really not going to be any more yeah, you're going to see more Draculina. You're going to see more of these characters. When? I don't know. Because, you know, Dynamite has this much of a catalog and this much of a publishing window, right? So, you know what I mean? Not everything can be done.
Right.
You know, would Nick love to do 25 books a month? Yeah, probably. That's just not the reality of the business. If you're not Marvel and DC, that's just not the reality of the business.
All right. So next up, we have Dark Knight's Metal. Number 1, it's the rare variant, signed by Scott Schneider and Greg Capullo.
Preston, that was I actually talked to Janine briefly about that. A crossover with the Vamp and the Shadow.
All right, so this one has a suggested retail of $69.99, and we have the one available for $39.19 for $19.39.
Tom joked that I would have to be cut in on the check because I suggested one of my favorite Shadow stories
TJ.
that Dynamite did was Shadow over Innsmouth,
Right.
like a Lovecraft thing. And I would love to see a Shadow Vamp Lovecraft story. Maybe Whisper in the Darkness, something like that.
So TJ James, that's hilarious. John the Oracle of Dynamite.
You know what? It's really funny. And I always like to say this. No, I mean, I do know a little bit more than the average person because I'm physically here. So sometimes I'll see things. You know what I mean? And of course, I'll know, other than when I blurted out the one thing that, you know, I know generally to be quiet about it. But I'm trying to think of a good way to put this.
Or as quiet as John can be.
I've noticed Nick has, everybody has tendencies in everything they do, right? Nick has tendencies as a publisher. He revisits successful IPs, right? So you will wind up seeing things again that, you know, now certain things, for example, you know, like if it's a Shannon Mayer project, well, that's a little bit different, right? Creator owned or whatever. But things that Nick has more direct influence over, like Vampirella, yeah, I'll tell you right now, if Vampirella was done tomorrow, I would confidently come on the show and say, you're going to see Vampirella later this year, beginning next year, whenever.
Right.
Somebody pointed out I did that last year. And I didn't even realize it, but somebody was like, yeah, like at the end of November, December on a show, you said you'll have more Vampirella next year. And we did get more Vampirella next year. Yes, I don't know if that's an oracle or that's just sort of knowing Nick / Dynamite and how they publish a little bit.
Does your arm hurt when you do that?
Do what?
Pat yourself on the back?
No, you know what? I never have to pat myself on the back because I have, you know, the fans do that.
You're no award winner, sir.
Have you checked the nominations yet? One of us was nominated. Was it you?
I doubt it.
I nominated me, so I'll tell you right now. There's nobody nominating us, man.
I would nominate the John Cole sandwich before I nominate you.
I would nominate some of the people here first. I would nominate some of our viewers before I nominate
Big John,
them.
Ron Shepard, everybody that joins us on a regular basis.
Yeah, I would nominate those people long before I nominate myself. Although Robbie, I understand, the glory hound, man. It's, you know, it's all about him.
It's the hair.
It's the hair.
All right, so next up we have Countdown to Infinite Crisis #1, signed by Michael Baer. This is a tough sig to get, even for us. I don't think we've had Baer sign anything since Infinite Crisis.
I was just going to say that, not to speak for the company, but I don't think there's been anything since then, right, that he's done?
Not with us anyway. So we have one available at $29.99. So no, obviously you're here so much, and you're talking to Nick and stuff that you know you hear a lot of stuff that goes on. So it gives you a slight edge.
Yeah, I mean it's more optimism than anything else, right? Like I'm not 100% sure, but I'm reasonably sure. Look at Vampirella. Nick has published it pretty much every year. I'll go out on a limb and say in 2024 Dynamite's going to publish Vampirella books. You know, unless a comet hits the planet or something, I'm pretty sure you're going to get those.
Well, that's cheerful.
No, I'm just saying there's certain things that you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. All right, so next up we have Flash Forward #1, signed by Scott Lobdell. It's just a retail of $29.99. It is number 45, only 60 signed, and we have the one available for $19.57. Is that for 1957 first Kid Flash appearance?
Flash of Two Worlds,
Or first Kid Flash appearance? Not sure.
I think it's Flash of Two Worlds, but Nick would know. This is time for Nick to bomb in. I know everything about the Flash. I have red pants.
$19.57. You can't really go wrong there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's for Flash of Two Worlds. But
all right, so then we have last signed book is Uncanny X-Men number 516, signed by Greg Land. It's number 5 of only 75 signed, and we have the one.
And that's
for
our signature
$19.63. And I love this one. I just love the cover. You know,
yeah, it's
full headshot of Magneto.
I get this question all the time when talking with people about comics, like who's your favorite X-Men? The answer is always Magneto.
Right.
Always. And I mean, you want to make the argument he is or he isn't an X-Men or whatever, that's fine. But his character to me, his backstory, and they've changed it 9 times. They've had to through the years or whatever. John is claiming that book.
All right, you got it, John.
His portrayal in the movies are really good. Even in the cartoons, they have him really well. This is a character that Marvel has a few super strong characters that I put consistently decade in and decade out are really good. Wolverine, of course, name goes up there, right? But Magneto's name absolutely goes up there. Sure, there have been times where they saddled Magneto with terrible gimmick, a terrible costume, but that's a character that pretty much from the jump held my interest.
Right.
And still does. You know, I mean, he was portrayed by Michael Fassbender. He was portrayed by, I can't think of his name now, Ian,
it's not Ian McGregor, but.
No, I can't think of his name now. But
Ian Kellen.
Ian Kellen. I just, you know, I'm wondering who will be Magneto in the future.
Right.
You know, I'm hoping they get someone at that level.
Agreed. All right, so we're going to switch back to the key vintage bronze. So we have New Teen Titans number 1 from
Magneto. Stop that. That's the Penguin.
Oh, no, that won't work. No. New Teen Titans number 1 from 1980. It is a 6.0. And we have the one available for $25.
When he was younger, the actor I always fantasy cast as Magneto was Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, I could see that.
Was Rutger Hauer.
He died really young. I felt like he wasn't that old when he passed.
No, I mean
he was like in his 50s, or I feel like he was.
I don't know if he was in his 60s or in his 50s. Someone will have to check that.
Two of his best roles, obviously, Blade Runner. Okay, that one was just so defining. And then there was one where he was a blind martial artist.
I can't remember what. I know what you're talking about.
It was based off of this is probably something we should talk about when Robbie's on.
Yeah.
But it was based on
Blind Fury.
That's it. Thank you, Jay. It was based on a character from Japanese movies called Zatoichi.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that wasn't Kurosawa. I don't think. But
I don't think that's Kurosawa. I could be wrong.
But the blind monk and everything else. It was and I love that movie. I thought it was great. When he's driving the van, that was awesome. Okay. Blind guy driving. Yeah, me too, Jay. I love that movie. We got to suggest that next Monday for Robbie to do on his movie review.
Yeah, that's a movie, and that's another movie I don't think I've seen as
Ron Perlman
as Magneto.
I don't know.
I don't know. My problem is I probably see him too much as Hellboy. That I'm having
he was a good Hellboy, but I don't see. You have to. I don't know. There is. I don't want to say a European look, but.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Magneto has to have
trying to fake that accent. It's gonna.
Magneto needs to have a certain sort of
sophistication.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Ron Perlman. That plus what was that series he was on?
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
he's
a tough guy bruiser.
Yes, that's Jay's right. He would be much better as Sabretooth.
Yes, I like that.
He would be a great Sabretooth.
I like that one. Yeah, that's a good idea, Marcus. Mutant Sons of Anarchy.
Somebody
Yeah, I
said
would
they're
agree with
doing,
that.
and I'll find out more about this in Austin. But apparently they've done Sons of Anarchy. They're doing Mayans right
You
now,
got
which
it,
I think
Tom
comes
Bishop.
to an end, and then I think there's going to be another sort of series there. Kurt Suter has talked about he's not done telling those stories. So
I got to catch up on movies. The problem is I get home from work, I'm so tired, and I don't know if this happens. Well, no, probably doesn't happen to you,
well,
but
you work sometimes 2 and 3 hours a day here.
and with no sustenance from you. But Adam Sandler's Puck.
Oh
He's
my
too
God.
tall. He's a little too tall. Danny DeVito, maybe. So, but I get home and I want to watch a movie, but I realize I'm probably going to fall asleep. So what do? I go back to watching episodes of Star Trek. Because
Something
I don't
I've
mind
seen.
falling asleep. I've seen it 100 times.
You know what? That's why when I have trouble sleeping, that's when I start watching The Twilight Zone, because they're half hour. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
so
right,
you
right,
know
right,
what I mean?
right.
They're like a half
And
hour.
you probably remember seeing the episodes.
Yeah.
So, you don't know exactly what happens, but you know what the outcome's going to be, kind of thing. Like, I'll never forget the one that for two of them stick out in my mind, Twilight Zone. The one with Shatner and the monster on the wing of the plane.
Oh, yeah.
That was
terror.
And then there was one, it was a murder. Nice old lady, okay? And she had killed her husband with a frozen leg of lamb and then cooked it and fed it to the cops who were investigating the murder.
Oh, man.
I remember that. It just was like so, and you and I, we just talked about it,
Yeah.
how so many of those stories from that time seem to be really relevant today.
You know what? That really talks about the writing. It's Ron Serling. It's Richard Matheson.
Maybe it's not relevant today. Maybe it's just a call it what you will. The writing, the message that they were trying to send, the juxtaposition, the irony, whatever, is timeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just timeless because the concept is there.
And who talked about that? Joe Straczynski talked about that with, I think, Comic Book Resources when he did the Twilight Zone for Dynamite. He talked about telling stories that, certain things change or whatever,
Right.
but the moral of the story, quote unquote, that Paul Harvey vibe of the rest of the story, is timeless. It absolutely, you know what I mean? It really sort of.
Is that what it was, Josh Went? You might be right. You might be right about that, actually. John, I haven't had communication with him of late, but I will find out for you, buddy. And if you don't mind, send me an email. Remind me. Is Jeremy?
Yeah,
Jeremy,
Stevie, I agree with you. Jeremy Irons is another guy I
Yeah.
would fantasy cast as Magneto. I just think these people are too old now.
Yeah, to get that.
He was, a couple of years ago, he was very elderly Ozymandias in the HBO Watchmen series. And I felt that, that was about the extent of what he could pull off at his age. You know what I mean? And I thought that was a good casting, actually.
Mill skills, yes. You know what? I'm gonna finish out the rest of the X-Men books, and then we'll do a recap of just the X-Men. All right. So, here we go. So we also have X-Men number 222 from 1987. It is an 8.5. Wolverine versus Sabretooth, Mark Silvestri. And we have the one available for 20. All right. And then X-Men number 244 from 1989.
Yeah, these are super aggressively priced.
Yeah, they are. It is an 8.5, first appearance of Jubilee, and we have one available for 30. All right, then we have
Jay, that's funny.
a
React cap.
All right, so we have X-Men number 248 from 1989, first Jim Lee X-Men. It is an 8.5, and we have the one available for $10.
So these people fantasy casting think there's like an $800 million budget. I'm like, man, not that I don't like the idea, but where's all this money coming from?
All right, and then we had X-Men number 256 from 1989. It is a 9.0, first new Psylocke, and we have the one available for $25. And then we have X-Men number 267 from 1990. Second appearance of Gambit, Jim Lee cover. It is a 9.2. And we have the one available for $20. And to close out the X-Men keys, bronze and vintage, we have X-Men King Size Special number 1 from 1970. It is a 7.5. And we have the one available for $90. All right, so in a couple minutes, we got to go to our last and final break. Then when we get back, what we will do is we will do a recap. You know what? Heck with it. We'll do a full recap, and that will include all the X-Men books and a couple of these. Did we do a couple of Spider-Man too? All right, well,
we did do some Spider-Man.
All right, so we're going to recap the whole thing when we get back. I apologize. I'm a little low energy today in case you just joined us. I tweaked my back because I'm old and have been just trying to didn't sleep too well last night because of it. So feeling a little sluggish today.
Reaching for a heavy bottle of rye, I felt a twinge in my back.
I wish that was the case. All right, but I will probably partake of some of that rye this evening because the ibuprofen ain't cutting it, unfortunately. The muscle relaxers are at your house. So what other choice do I have, people? It sucks getting old, though. I didn't even realize that I had tweaked my back. I felt a little uncomfortable in the car ride home, sat down on the couch, ate some dinner, and said, all right, this will go away in the morning. This morning, I'm like a crippled old man, dude. Not good. A re-Rex cap. Yes, TJ, we're going to do a re-Rex cap. We're going to do the full Rex cap when we get back from our break. So, all right, JD, take us to a break and then learn to love Bengay. I like icy hot. All right, take us to our break and we'll be right back.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time. Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form. Go follow The Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me.
Hey, we're back. All right, so some good suggestions here. Lyle with the Voltaren and Epsom salt. Jay Burns, trust me, yeah, I know, but I think I didn't have a fungo, and my daughter was complaining because she wanted me, when she was in the outfield, she wanted me to hit line drives into the gap, right? And I couldn't get it into the gap that she wanted because I'm sorry, man, I'm old. And time and time again, trying to drill it out there, I think it just definitely tweaked something. All right, so you know what? Let's do the full Rex Gap. Thank you, JD. All right, here we go. So we did start off, as always, Dynamite 10-pack reader set. Suggested retail of $40 or higher. They all have a cover price of $3.99 or higher. And as always, as a thank you to our group, we have it for $5 for all 10 books, 50 cents a copy. Let's see. All right, then we did Phoenix Resurrection, The Return of Jean Grey, #1, comic sketch art exclusive variant cover signed by Matthew Rosenberg. Suggested retail of $39.99, and we have the one available for $19.63. Then we did Dark Knight's Metal #1, rare variant signed by Scott Schneider and Greg Capullo. Suggested retail of $69.99. We have the one available for $39.19. Then we had Countdown to Infinite Crisis #1, signed by Michael Baer. And we have the one available for $29.99. Then we did Flash Forward #1, signed by Scott Lobdell. Actually, kind of excited to see this movie. Suggested retail of $29.99. It's number 45, only 60 signed, and we have the one available for $19.57.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be real interesting to see how they sort of
all the
stuff. I was originally going to pass on it. But then I sort of had,
gotta watch it now.
Kind of, other people. Yeah. We're gonna go see this, right?
All right, Preston, you got it, buddy. Hold on. Okay, gotcha, Preston.
Yeah, they've probably done as much editing and massaging as they can do to sort of.
I would agree.
You know what I mean? To get Ben Affleck out there, to get Michael Keaton out there, to kind of bolster the Superwoman character. Just, anything to sort of say, hey, look.
No, I agree. All right, so next up we have Iron Man #600, signed with classic Iron Man cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $129.99, and we have the one available for $62. Oh no, dude, no, it won't work for her. She's fielding, so you can't do the pitching machine. We have an indoor facility. We got tons of pitching machines. For her, it's not the same. So she can hit off of that when we go indoors, but no, forget about it. She won't. Yeah, I can't shoot them out there to her. And we have the ones that use the pimple balls, the soft pimple balls in the machine. All right, so next up we got Superior Spider-Man Goblin Nation #1, signed with Spider-Man and Vulture cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $129.99, and we have the one available for $62.19. And then we had Defenders and X-Men #1, connecting cover sketches of Namor versus Hulk by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $199.99. Now, warning everybody, the Uncanny X-Men with Namor has some water damage on the back cover. So as a result, we are discounting that all the way down to $62 on that one. All right, then we had X-Men #54 from 1969. It is a 5.0. Alex Summers appearance and Living Pharaoh appearance. It is a 5.0, and we have the one available for $50. Josh went. The Waters of Atlantis. Correct. I mean, it is the Water of Atlantis on the back cover.
It's the elemental version.
Good one. All right. So then we have X-Men #55 from 1969. It is a 6.5. Alex Summers discovers he has powers, and we have the one available for $65. That's not bad. And Zac Efron is Cyclops. That might work actually.
Yeah, that one actually might not work.
Yeah, that might
I mean,
work.
that might actually work.
All right, so then we have X-Men number 158 from 1982. Second appearance of Rogue is an 8.5, and we have one available at $15.
Michael Cera as Cyclops. Dude, you seriously hate you want no chance for this movie to succeed.
So then we had X-Men number 162 from 1982. Wolverine solo story. It is a 9.0, and we have the one available for $12. Then we have X-Men number 210 from 1986. First cameo appearance of the Marauders. It is a 9.0, and we have the one available for $15. All right, then we had X-Men number 211 from 1986. First full appearance of the Marauders, and this is a 9.4, and we have the one available for $25. Then we had X-Men 212 from 1986. First battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. It is a 9.2, and we have the one available for $15. Then we did X-Men number 213 from 1987. Sabretooth Psylocke appearance, first cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister.
How claimy did we get tonight?
I'm sorry, what?
How claimy? Claimy. How many claims?
Okay, that's a interesting
Claimy.
word.
I like that.
A 9.0, and we have the one available for $25. Let's see. The Phoenix Resurrection is gone.
Phoenix Resurrection.
The Action 1000 is gone.
Ooh, the Action 1000.
The X-Men 516 by Greg Land.
X-Men 516 by Greg Land. Which one is that?
The one with the full Magneto.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, New Teen Titans number 1.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that was nice. It's
Newsstand, too.
And then the Punisher Annual number 2. That may not be on the rack.
It's not on the rack.
It's not on the rack. So that is it. Where did I leave off on the
Slow
recap?
night.
Where am I on the recap?
I'm not going to be able to afford not to pay John.
Hey, JD, where did I leave off on the
Mini claiming.
Mini claiming.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you, JD.
Oh, Nick has stuff.
Everybody who orders tonight, free set of lantern rings. Orange lantern, white lantern, black lantern, purple lantern. Apparently, they are out of green lantern rings. Yes, I did eat. So, and there you go. JD's a rainbow lantern.
One on each.
So let's see. I cannot believe no one bought the Submariner versus Hulk.
I was surprised too.
Let's just make it $50. 2 commission cover art.
All right,
Yeah,
so
wow.
that was 62. Now it's 50.
Well, originally it was $250. So.
Well, there you go. All right. So, so that is down to 50 for both books. Again, just reminding everybody that there is the Waters of Atlantis on the back cover. I like that one. That one's my favorite. All right, so we did, all right, X-Men number 213. I believe we did that one. Sabretooth Psylocke, first cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister. And we have the one available for $25. Then we have X-Men number 222 from 1987. Wolverine versus Sabretooth, Mark Silvestri. It is an 8.5, and we have one available for $20. Then X-Men number 244 from 1989, first appearance of Jubilee. It is an 8.5, and we have the one available for $30. Then we have X-Men number 248 from 1989. First Jim Lee X-Men. It is an 8.5, and we have the one available for $10. Me too, Triple B. That's a pretty cool cover. So then we have X-Men number 256 from 1989. First new Psylocke. It is a 9.0, and we have the one available for $25.
Stevie B, is the water damage on the subby side?
Yes, it actually
3D action
is.
for $50.
It is. All right, and then we have X-Men number 267. Second appearance of Gambit, Jim Lee cover. It is a 9.2, and we have the one available for $20. Then we have X-Men King Size Special number 1 from 1970. It is a 7.5, and we have the one available for $90. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 164 from 1977. It is a 5.5, and we have that one available for $20. And then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 197 from 1979. It is a 6.5, and we have the one available for $20. All right, so now we're going to finish up with the rest of the books. Going back to the top of page 2, just to help JD out a little bit. We're going Marvel 2-in-1 number 3, featuring The Thing and Daredevil. It is a 7.0. And we have the one available for $12. See you, Lyle. Stay warm, buddy. All right, then we have Spider-Woman number 1 from 1978. Origin of Spider-Woman. It is a 7.0. And we have the one available for $35.
It's really nice condition, too.
Tom, are you claiming that one? Just to be clear. I'm going to jot you in, buddy. If I'm incorrect, let me know, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha, Tom. All right.
Dwayne wants Spider-Woman.
All right, you got it, Dwayne. All right, then next up we have Spider-Woman number 19 from 1979. Werewolf by Night appearance on the cover too. And we have 6.5. We have the one available for $10. All right. Okay, so we got a few more Amazing Spider-Mans to go through. All right, so we have Amazing Spider-Man number 209 from 1980. First Calypso. It is a 4.0, and we have the one available for $15. You got it, Dwayne.
Dwayne wants $10 as well.
All right, then we had Amazing Spider-Man number 221 from 1981. It is a 7.0, and we have the one available for $10.
Toys R Us shopping spree. Glad they brought Toys R Us back because I'm wondering, like, a whole generation of people have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, right. All right, so then we had Amazing Spider-Man number 235. It is an 8.0 from 1982, and we have this one available for $10. All right, then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 245 from 1983. It is a 5.0 Hobgoblin, obviously, and we have this one available for $18.
I heard someone refer to Hobgoblin as a new character one day. And it was funny at the comic book store. I just turned around and looked. I'm like, new character? It's got to be 30 years old. I mean, exactly what,
Yeah, but you were talking to a 10-year-old at the time. So, All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 325 from 1989. It is McFarlane art. It is 7.0, and we have the one available for $8.
I'm wondering how much Red Skull McFarlane is not.
All right, and then we have Web of Spider-Man number 1 from 1984. It is a newsstand edition. It is a 6.5, and we have this one available for $40. These are all very aggressively priced, so everybody knows.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really low for this.
TJ. All right, so then we have Marvel Team Up number 141 from 1984. It's newsstand. And it's tied for the first appearance of the black suit. And it is a 6.5, and we have it available for $60. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, number 55, Legacy number 856. The Gleason lot of 4, first, second, third, and a 1 in 50 ratio retailer incentive from 2021. All these books are near mint, and we have it for $60. The 1 in 50 is the second print, though, just to be clear. All right, and then finally, Mark Spector, Moon Knight number 21 from 1990. Punisher on the cover, Spidey, and obviously Moon Knight. It is a newsstand edition, and we have this one for $8.
Wow.
Yeah, I really can't get too much cheaper than that. So I'm gonna hold off for a second, and I'm gonna recap just what we did in the last few minutes. But I'm gonna give our buddy Big John Spilios, a chance because it's got Punisher on the cover. All right, so let's do a quick mini Rex Cap. All right, so we did Spider-Woman number 19 from 1979, Werewolf by Night appearance, 6.5, and we have the one available for $10. All right, so then we did Amazing Spider-Man number 209 from 1980. First Calypso, it is 4.0, and we have the one for $15. All right. Then we had Amazing Spider-Man number 221 from 1981. It's a 7.0, and we have that available for $10. Then we had Amazing Spider-Man number 235 from 1982. It is an 8.0, and we have that one available for $10. And then Amazing Spider-Man number 245 from 1983. Hobgoblin 5.0, and we have the one available for $18. Then Amazing Spider-Man number 325 from 1989. McFarlane art, it's 7.0, and we have that available for $8. Then we have Web of Spider-Man number 1 from 1984, newsstand edition, 6.5, and we have that available for $40, the black uniform. Then we have Marvel Team Up number 141 from 1984, newsstand type, first appearance of the black suit, 6.5, and we have the one available for $60. Then we had the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, number 55, Legacy 856, Gleason lot of 4, first, second, third, and the 1 in 50 second prints from 2021. And it is near mint, and we have the whole collection for $60. Then finally, we have Mark Spector, Moon Knight number 21 from 1990, newsstand version. And we have that for a ridiculous $8. And that does it for the Rex Cap. So, you are going to Texas, huh?
Yeah, I've been going to ATX TV for on and off for a while. During the pandemic, they stopped or whatever. It's a great con. It's like a low-key con. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's some comic people there. It's not like a huge thing.
Right.
Austin's a great city, great food. We'll be going to Franklin Barbecue.
So, JD,
yeah,
can you throw the link up? Thank you, Preston, for reminding us. At you, she yells at all of us. Are you kidding me? Except John. She doesn't really yell at John. He's not here enough.
I just get a little.
All right, so
Grab my
JD will
comic
throw
and
that
knock the
link
door.
up for us in a second. And while he's doing that,
I'm curious what these guys picked up today for New Comic Book Day.
I'm curious too.
You know, I'm kind of wondering what they.
JD getting his pizza.
He's getting his pizza. Is that what's going on?
Pizza guy must be at the door.
Yeah.
Thank you, JD. All right, Jay and I assume Jenna will be at Comic Palooza this weekend.
And we have whose show?
So
what do we have
JD's
on
like,
later
I have to
tonight?
pay occasionally. Hey, pee before the show, man.
I'm
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. So tune in on Friday. Nick will be doing his original art show, as far as I know.
7. What do we have next?
7 p.m.
on the-
Eastern. And JD, what's up next on the experience?
Well, we have 3T. Everybody forgets the name. It's Talkin' Treats Trivia with Chuck Minot and a special guest. They do a little interview, and then they do trivia, and you can win real, actual prizes from the person they interview.
Cool.
Yeah, and then after that, we've got 360 Comics. No Henri today. He's working on his Kickstarter.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we got 2 great programs coming up after this. Don't forget about Nick's show on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Original art, always great pieces there, great stories. A lot of this comes from Nick's personal collection or and such. So there's always a really cool story attached to a particular piece of art. Don't forget, I'll be on with my buddy Robbie at PCP Pop Culture Philosophers on Friday at noon for the topic of the day. And of course, me and John, well, if he's not traveling,
I'll be here Monday. I'm pretty sure
we'll be here Mondays with Robbie and Wednesdays with AR Comics. And of course, we have our show with Bueller on his channel, me and Amy, tomorrow evening with some great stuff.
Our Alex have something at 9 o'clock?
That is 360. I believe.
Is that 360?
Yeah, that's what I believe it is. So
It's funny, he came in. He's like, "Don't forget my show at 9 o'clock." I'm like, "You have a show?" I really got to start reading more emails.
Yeah, tell the retired guy. That's right. I'm sorry, Eddie Von Beek. We are off on Monday because of Memorial Day. I apologize. Normally Mondays we'll be back on. So John, yeah. So I won't see you until you get back from Texas.
Yeah. I'll try to pop in on Wednesday if I can.
All right.
On
Whatever.
we'll see. We
Whatever.
Austin's like a barbecue mecca, so there'll be quite a
Take
bit of.
lots of pictures so you can bring them back to the XP and the group.
You know what? One of the things I used to do is I used to do little video clips from food carts. Austin's a big food cart town,
That works.
and we'd be out like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and
That totally
great
works.
food carts. The bars empty out on Congress Street.
Dude, and I assume you know how to take pictures of food, right? You've done
A
that.
little bit.
Yes, thank you. So that would be very cool if you would do that.
Yeah. Well,
You know, this is a comics food show.
it's a comics food show. I've actually been to the Salt Lick a few times. I really like
John
the
will
Salt Lick.
suggest what to read and pair it with what
Yeah.
you should be eating. Kind of like that wine and food thing, except it's comics.
Well, we
and
used to
food.
talk about food and comics are not great combination because your hands are dirty.
Oh, you don't have an assistant to turn pages for you?
No.
Are you sure?
No, people always like, oh, like you'd sit in my car and I wouldn't even want to drink anything when I was reading my comics. I would be like, clean hands, read my comics, then I would go eat something in the car.
No, but you got sodas and water and all kinds of your coconut water and all that stuff while we're doing the show in front of all these comics.
Only one of them got the 3D effect. That Namer Hulk.
Yeah, we're looking your way, John. The investigation begins with suspect number 1.
Well, you know what? Somebody picks that up for $50. 2 CCA covers, I'll sign them in a coconut colored pen.
Hey, if you want something, ask for a John Cole sandwich. His signature is worth it. It's a John Cole sandwich, though.
Yeah, the signature.
That bad boy. Mm-hmm. That I gotta tell you, I love the John Cole sandwich. I'm not even lying. You see how much I bust on John, so you know I love it.
I'm super excited for the bakery. They've done really well with it, and
Cool.
you know what I mean. Like,
Well, it's a great
see
sandwich,
my friends,
dude.
people driving like an hour to get this thing is kind of.
I gotta admit, though, when I warm it back up in the oven, right? Because I can't eat that sandwich at one time. And the thing is like this wide,
I'm
right?
bringing you too much food. Is that what you're
Oh
saying?
no, I'm not saying that at all. But I can't eat it at one sitting. I like the way that you put the foil and I warm it in the oven because God forbid I should try to microwave. John will kill
Oh
me.
my goodness, Mike.
But I like the way that the bread gets a little bit crispy on the outside, a little crunchy. And that actually, I think it actually makes it better.
I tell people that all the time. When people ask me how do I eat it, I'll make it at the bakery. I'll take it home. It's wrapped in foil. I will throw it in a warm oven
you
for
do?
just a little bit to just.
Okay.
I like it that way. But you know what? Some people don't. People get when you're dealing with the public, people they like this, they like that.
I like it better that way.
A little crunch, especially with like fresh made mozzarella. A little crunch is always perfect.
I just got to get it so that I think I maybe put it in there too long because the mozzarella begins to melt a little.
A little too much, yeah. Well, I mean, literally.
So I should have pulled it out earlier.
I think he's making that mozzarella like every other.
That's wet mozzarella. Right?
Yeah, that's what it's called. He was making it every other day.
There used to be a place in Lakewood, New Jersey, a place I used to work. The boss used to take us to lunch every Wednesday. And we went to this little Italian place, sandwich place kind of place. They had the best pasta fazool that I ever had.
Yeah.
But more than that, we always got the same thing. It was a prosciutto wet mozzarella sandwich on a fast stone bread. Which is very crunchy, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, to die for. That's when I realized just how much I love prosciutto. Okay, I was like, man, it was fantastic, and the soup was great. So that was always a lot of fun. So, yeah, JD. All right, so thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we're out of here. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah, tune in on Friday for Nick's show at 7 p.m. PCP Pop Culture Philosophers at noon time. I'll be on there with Robbie.
Enjoy the rest of your new comic book day. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Have a great Memorial Day. Hope everybody eats lots of barbecue. I know Kyle probably will.
Kyle might be in a competition or something this weekend.
Man, that would suck, man. I'd like to invite Kyle over to like cater for the barbecue.
My guess is at his level of barbecue, that's probably pretty expensive catering. If I was at his level,
but we work together. We're buds. So
that experience discount is 2.5%.
You should teach him how it's done, right? People bring me food, man. All right, be safe, everyone. Have a great Memorial Day.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
We'll see you guys soon.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.